is not that we need to talk to our children more, it's that we must listen and allow them to be really heard, to really be heard, to really truly be heard. Listen to the little ones, out of the mouths of babes. Hello, I'm Valerie Harper, and the photograph you just saw and the quote you just heard me state are part of a new book that I'm here to talk with you about. That's my daughter Christina, and I was privileged to be part of this book. I'd like to take a few moments to introduce you to this book personally, from me to you. This is Portraits of Life with Love, Joan Lauren. It's a beautiful book, the royalties from which will provide desperately needed hands-on care services for children with HIV and AIDS. But first, let me tell you how Joan came to creating this book. 3 years ago, Miss Joan Lauren, who is an extremely gifted and noted, well-known Los Angeles-based photographer, she's particularly revered, I guess you'd say, for her beautiful natural light portraits. Joan had a vision about a book that would utilize her God-given talent and her expertise as a photographer to do something around the issue of AIDS, to transform the way we feel about it. She wanted to replace the blame, the fear, and denial with understanding, with love. And toward that end, Joan's really completed her mission, I would say. I guess we all have motivating incidents in our lives. Joan's was one day in a hospital. She spent a lot of time in several hospitals with a dear one of hers who was terminally ill with cancer. And this one particular day, she was walking down a corridor in the hospital, and toward her came a mother with a very young child in what appeared to be a crib on wheels, and the mom was pushing the baby forward. And Joan was exceedingly sad herself already, but for some reason went over and looked into the crib to look at the baby, and here this little one was with just tiny sprigs of hair, pale skin, dark circles under their eyes. She didn't know if it was a boy or a girl, and her heart almost audibly, to her own mind, broke in her chest as she looked at this child, and as she was feeling about to, in her words, lose it completely. This little baby, as sick as it was, near to death as it was, smiled at Joan. And at that moment she said, oh, I had this little one dead and in the grave, and here they are, full of life, full of hope, able to muster a smile for me. So it transformed her whole way of thinking about the life-death thing that we all confront, and out of that came the book. So after 9 months of diligent work, bringing her vision to a reality, Joan then teamed up with a young man named B Harlan Boll, who acted as an artist coordinator, bringing in celebrities for the book. As a matter of fact, he called me, and I very happily, with my daughter, agreed to be part of the book. They accumulated an unprecedented and impressive collection of photographs of some of the world's most famous faces. If I sound immodest, I don't mean to, but we all came together for one cause, our children, joyfully and with love. Over 130, 140 of the best-known personalities in television, film, journalism, medicine, dance, music, fashion, sports, plus, of course, there's photographs of activists for animals and ocean life, and, of course, the AIDS fight itself. All these folks donated their time to be part of this very stunning, exclusive photographic essay. It was our feelings for children everywhere that moved us, the participants, to open our hearts and share with the reader our own thoughts. I mean, my quote is nothing to write home about, but it's what I wanted to say. Some people quote famous quotations in the book. Whatever, each expression, there's an expression with every single photograph. It also includes some extraordinary pages from some 4 marvelous women. The forewords by Elizabeth Glaser, who has been just such a light in the AIDS movement, an opening statement from Barbra Streisand, an introductory quote from Mother Teresa herself, and also the closing remarks by Julie Andrews. The book is magnificent, but here's the really great part. As I mentioned briefly, royalties from Portraits of Life with Love go directly from the publisher, General Publishing Group, Inc., to the Hands On Care Foundation, and then those monies are distributed through the National Community AIDS Partnership. It's called NCAP. Wonderful group, wonderful organization in Washington, D.C. This manner of distributing funds allows the foundation, the Hands On Care Foundation, to guarantee money raised from the sales of this book will be used strictly for the purposes defined in their bylaws. What are those purposes? Desperately needed direct hands-on care services for children and their families that are living with HIV and AIDS. Now, when I say direct services, I'm talking food, diapers, cribs, bedding for the little cribs, a pillow, I mean, anything that just in daily life you need. Then there's summer camps. Children are children, and what's important to them is having fun, and a lot of summer camps will take children that are HIV and AIDS. And also the people, the staff there don't know how to care properly and get these kids their medication. Transportation costs. Would you believe that sometimes lack of bus fare prevents a mother or a father from going to a hospital to see their child? And also the heartbreaking one is funeral expenses. Some parents are unable to bury their little ones properly because they lack the funds. Hands On Care Foundation would provide that. The Hands On Care supplies no money, nothing, for research. There are other great groups doing that, but none of the proceeds would go for research or medication. Just the daily bare necessities of living for children and their families that are facing HIV and AIDS. I'd like you right now to hear some other statements by some of the other participants in the book. I want you to hear their feelings that express their own experiences with children living with HIV and AIDS, and also personal views on life and love with regards to all our children.
He nestled against me and smiled. Philip, who was 12 years old. He was officially adopted in August 1992. He was born HIV positive. Both of his stepbrothers died of AIDS. His mother is a wonderful, loving woman, but Philip has begun to have the symptoms of AIDS and is beginning to ask his mother if he's going to die. She tries using the Bible to comfort him, explaining how everyone has a limited time on earth. What breaks my heart is that Philip has now started to be shunned by the kids in the projects and in school. His classmates either avoid him or try to beat him. Philip has lost his desire to go to school. The same thing happens to him where he hangs out in the projects, so he won't come out to play anymore. His mother has taken him to a counselor. They use art therapy, and Philip has been drawing pictures of himself in a coffin. I could not hug him hard enough.
When Alexis entered the room on the day we were to take our picture for this book, she breezed in, and her energy oxygenized the air. She is the personification of a bundle of love, and the hugs she gives with bubbles of enthusiasm defy any notion that she is unwell. It is incomprehensible to imagine that this child is HIV positive. What can I do? The frustration cries out from our nature to feel we have the power to effect change, and yet we are powerless in the face of this disease. At the end of the day, perhaps there is one thing we can do. We can give love. Perhaps that is our greatest power of all.
Possible. With love, everything is fine. New worlds are spinning every day. Miracles are on the way. In every touch,
I've heard it said that some things you see with your eyes, the others you see with your heart. I know it is the author, Joan Lauren's hope, that within these pages, the reader will experience both. Thank you very much for your time in listening to me talk with you about. Please understand that this is a golden opportunity for people, customers, to do something tangible to alleviate the intense suffering of little ones and their families facing AIDS and HIV. And at the same time, they can own this fabulous book. I mean, it's really gorgeous. So please get out there, get behind the book, display it prominently, over-order, really push it. I want tons of these books to sell, because for every single book that sells, that's more money to provide hands-on, direct care to be provided to these children who have HIV and AIDS. They need it so badly, and they deserve it so much. So thank you very much for all you'll do in using this wonderful opportunity to help those kids. Also to change the way we're thinking about AIDS. Start coming at AIDS with love, not the stuff that has been coming at AIDS, denial and blame and hate. I mean, this could be a transformational tool, and you could be a big part of it. So thank you.